Hey, what's going on everybody on YouTube? Steve with Rake and Profit over at rakeandprofit.com. Coming back to you with another video, and in today's video I wanted to update you. This is going to be update video number 2 on my vending machine business. So I want to say first and foremost up front, I haven't taken a ton of action. I have done a few things to get the ball rolling in terms of starting my business up, but I still have a ways to go. But I want to give you an update because it's been a few weeks in terms of what I've done, what action steps I've taken in terms of starting my vending machine business, which again, you could look at my latest video right here. I'm gonna leave an annotation. If you didn't see video 1, be sure to check that out. I kind of talked about my idea of what I want to do and all that good stuff. But I want to share with you guys the progress that I've made so far and just share my journey with you, because that's what I said I was going to do. I was going to share my journey, good and bad, starting the business from square one to getting my location to, tracking how much money I'm making and all that stuff. So with that being said, let's dive into this video. So the first thing that I did was I actually set up an LLC, a limited liability corporation, for my business. And the reason why I did that was just for protection, because just like any other business, there's things that could go wrong, there's ways that you can get sued, and it's just an added protection to be able to sleep at night. So that did cost me about $150 to be able to set that up with the state of Connecticut, and there is an ongoing fee that you're gonna have to pay if you set up an LLC with your state. Again, make sure you consult a CPA or a lawyer. I'm obviously neither of those, but I'm just sharing my own experience. In Connecticut, there is like a fee of like $150 or something dollars to keep that going each and every year. Plus, you have to send like $30 to like something of the state. I don't know what branch it is, but there is money to keep that going. But the reason why I set up my LLC was just for protection. And the cool thing about having an LLC is, like, for example, like I'll give an example. Like, say I got sued and I didn't have an LLC. The people would actually be able to, the people suing me would actually be able to come after me for all my assets, for anything that I owned, for my car, for a house if I owned it, for any money that I had in the bank. I'm pretty sure, again, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm just going based on what I know. But they could come after me. Whereas if you have an LLC, they can only come after your company and what's in your company name. So that's why I set that up, just for that added protection. But it did cost about $150 to get that going. And there is ongoing fees to keep that running. But I got the LLC set up, so I'm really happy about that. The second thing that I did, and I haven't finalized this yet, was I started to call up some insurance companies for product liability. So, for example, say somebody went to one of my candy machines and they had like a nut allergy or something like that, and they ate a nut and they died, or something horrible happened. I mean, God forbid. They could, I'm assuming they could come after me. Or maybe a better example is maybe a kid, goes to a bank and gets a gumball and chokes on it, and, now the family's gonna sue me. Product liability is there to, obviously compensate the other party, and just like insurance for car insurance or other types of business insurance. I know a lot of people who run Amazon FBA businesses and they're doing private label, they get product liability. But I just been kind of calling around getting quotes, but I still need to finalize that, but I've been taking some action on that. The next thing I've been doing is I've been doing some research into the different types of machines that I want to buy. So pretty much right now I'm looking at either, I'm just going basic for now. I'm either going to go with like a single head machine, which is like a standing machine with just like one canister on the top with like gumballs in it, just as an experiment. Or I'm thinking about going with like a double head machine or maybe a triple head machine. And pretty much what that is, it has different things you could put in it. So like maybe one canister will be gumballs, another will be M&Ms, and another will be Skittles. I'm sure you guys have seen those all over. But that's what I'm pretty much aiming to go towards right now. And I still haven't made a firm decision in terms of the actual machine I'm going to buy. But the brands I'm looking at are Beaver and Northwest Territory. I believe that's Northwest Territory, or is that a clothing brand? I don't know. I think it's Northwest, something like that. North something. I'll leave the actual brand in the description. Again, you can tell I'm not an expert, but those are the two brands I'm looking at. And the reason why I wanted to go with those is, first of all, they've been around for a while. They're all metal and they're just known to work really well. I don't want to go with like some of these lower end brands that are plastic and the parts are going to be breaking all the time. I want this to be, as passive as it gets. I don't want to consistently be going and fixing machines and doing all these things that, you know, I could have prevented if I just would have paid a little more money at first to get really good machines that work well. But again, it's all an experiment for now. But those are the two brands I'm looking at, and the machines are going to run anywhere between, and I'm thinking about going new just because I've had like not a lot of success finding used machines around here. A lot of them are like really beat up. And even like on eBay, like the shipping is so much, like it's almost worth it just for me to go new. So the prices are anywhere between $100 for like the smaller gumball machines, upwards to $250, $300 for a new machine. So I know that that's a lot of overhead for one machine, and if I'm only making, you know, 10, 15, 20 bucks a month for a machine, it's gonna take, you know, a year or more to pay it off. But again, I still need to do some more research on that. And this is a long-term play for me and for my mother. I don't know if she's still going to be doing this with me. We haven't talked a lot about it. I'm kind of running the show now. But either way, if it's just me or my mother and I, hopefully she's still on board. This is a long-term play. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. You know, I'm not going to be able to retire off of this anytime soon. It's a long-term play for sure. And I want to build it up to making a few $1,000s per month and get it to a somewhat passive stage. But there's going to be a lot of upfront work for now. There's going to be a lot of investment, and it's going to be an experiment. It's going to be a slow process, kind of like my Kindle publishing business. But still looking into that. The next thing I actually did was I hooked up with a local charity, and the charity is called the American Association for Lost Children. And the reason why I'm doing that is because when you hook up, like, you have a few options when you're going to get locations. Either you could try to get locations and pay them out per location per month, so like 10 or 15%. Or you could go in there and say, hey, look, I'm hooked up with an organization, a charity. I'm going to donate 10 or 15 or 20% of the proceeds to the charity, or whatever you feel is best. I know people, I've recently talked to some people who run gumball machines. They do even more than 25%, just as like a way of being nice and giving back. But the reason I hooked up with this is because a lot of times you'll be able to get into these locations for free, and instead of me having to pay the locations, which really, they don't need the extra $5 a month, I'd rather give it to a charity and give back to something in need. So I was doing a lot of research with charities, and I was looking at different ones, and the American Association for Lost Children just looked like a good cause, and it's like privately funded. They don't have like any grants coming in from, you know, the states and the federal level, however it all works. So I love children, and, you know, lost children, that's just horrible. And I just couldn't imagine if I was, you know, in one of those kids' position, or got kidnapped, or was lost, or whatever. Like, so I thought it was just a really good cause. But I signed up with them, I hooked up with them, so they gave me like a bunch of like flyers and information that I could show the people when I knock on some doors, or if I use a locating service, which I'm going to get into in a minute. But I'm just experimenting with this to see how it works. So got that all ready to go. And the next thing that I did was I actually hooked up with a locating service. And pretty much what this is a service where you pay them, it ranges between 40 or 50 bucks, and they guarantee you a location to put your actual vending machine into. So it varies in price based on the type of machine. If it's like a single head or a double head, or if it's like bigger or smaller, the prices range, but it's like 40 or 50 bucks, and they're actually going to find you a location within your, you know, your geographical area and your zip code or whatever, and they'll place a machine for you, and they've got like a guarantee. I forgot what it was, but if it doesn't make at least 15 bucks a month, the actual machine, they'll find a replacement location for you. But I gotta look more into that, but I'm gonna definitely do both. I'm gonna probably use a locating service, and I believe this is called kickstartlocations.com. Don't quote me on that. Let me double check it, and I'll put it in the comments below. But I'm gonna be using that locating service. I've heard good things about it, and seeing how that works. And I'm also gonna be visiting some local places in my area, some Chinese food restaurants, some barber shops, some different areas. I've been kind of browsing around some banks and stuff, and just experiment to see what works. So that's pretty much all I've gotten done so far. Also, one more thing I'm getting ready to do is I actually printed off the permit sheet for Connecticut, because you need a vending machine permit license or something to be able to operate a vending machine in Connecticut. So pretty much what I'm gonna have to do is fill out that slip and send in like $40. And once that gets approved, there's actually gonna be a person who has to come out to my house, and they're gonna check out where I'm storing all the candy and the merchandise or whatever I decide to put into vending machines, whether it's, you know, little game things. You ever see those things where it's like a little ball and they have like a little miniature game, or a little, I don't know, you know what I'm talking about. Whether it's one of those or gumballs or M&Ms or Skittles, whatever I decide to do, I haven't gotten to that point. They're gonna have to come and check out my condo, and I've got like a little area, a little cupboard that I'm gonna be storing all the items. So the inspector's gonna have to come out, check it out, and see, make sure, do their thing, that it's safe and all that stuff. And once that's approved and stuff, I'm really gonna start moving ahead and getting the machine. And you know, I gotta finalize the product liability insurance, and order the candy and get the machine and all that, and get my service locating me a place or me knocking some doors, and I'll be ready to go. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this update video for update number 2, my vending machine business. Again, my mom, she's kind of been on the fence. It's funny, like she's on board one minute, and then the next minute she's like, I don't know if I want to do it, you know, I don't have the money, this and that, and I could understand it. So either way, I'm moving forward with this business with, you know, just myself or my mother. Hopefully she comes on board and helps out. But making some good progress, but still have a lot of work to do. So hopefully you enjoyed this vending machine business update number 2. If you have any comments, concerns, questions, leave a comment below, and I look forward to seeing you in the comment section. So thanks for watching, and have a good day. Bye.